The circle of fifths is a visual representation of how key signatures relate to one another, and until you memorize the keys, it's a quick way to figure out key signatures. If someone asks me, what major scale has 4 sharps? Well, I know it to be the key of E major, because I've been doing this for some time. But in the beginning, I used the circle of fifths to help me remember how to identify key signatures. Take a look. First of all, let me define for you what a fifth is. The fifth is an interval, which is the distance between one note and another, and we'll go into detail about intervals in a later tutorial, but, for now, just understand that a fifth is the distance between the first and fifth note in a major scale. As an example, the fifth note in C major scale is G. Starting on C, you count C, D, E, F, G. So the fifth note is G. Got it? Starting on C major, the key with no sharps or flats, if you want to figure out which key has one sharp, you add a fifth to C. As we said before, a fifth from C is G. So G is the key with one sharp. Let's count it out again. C, D, E, F, G. G is the fifth note of the C major scale, thus it's a fifth away from C, thus G major is the key with one sharp. So what's the key with 2 sharps? Well, this time starting on G, what's the fifth note in the G scale? It goes G, A, B, C, D. D is the fifth note. That means D major is the key with 2 sharps. So let's keep going. What's the key with 3 sharps? So it will be the fifth note of the D scale, which is D, E, F sharp, G, A. A is the major key with 3 sharps. So if I look at a piece of music with 3 sharps in the key signature, we're in the key of a major, or its relative minor, which if you recall from the last video, the relative minor is the 6th note of the major scale. So in this case, it'll be F sharp minor is the relative minor key to a major. So 3 sharps at the beginning of the piece denotes a major or F sharp minor. Let's continue on with the circle of fifths. After a major, a fifth up is E major with 4 sharps. Then, B major has 5 sharps. Then, F sharp major has 6 sharps. And C sharp major has 7 sharps. Now to figure out flats, we actually go the other way around the circle of fifths. And instead of counting fifths, we count fourth. Starting on C major again, to find the key with 1 flat, we count of fourth in this case. It's C, D, E, F. F major has 1 flat. And to figure out what key has 2 flats, count of fourth up from F and we get F, G, A, B flat. B flat is the key with 2 flats. Then, E flat major has 3 flats. Then, A flat major has 4 flats. D flat major has 5 flats. G flat major has 6 flats. And then, C flat major has 7 flats. So using the circle of fifths, you can find out how many sharps or flats a key has. The same thing can be done with the minor scales. And this time we start on a minor, because a minor has no sharps and no flats. So to find out which minor key has 1 sharp, we count up a fifth or 5 notes up from A, which is A, B, C, D, E. E minor has 1 sharp. And then, B minor has 2 sharps. Because that's a fifth up from E. Then, F sharp minor has 3 sharps. C sharp minor has 4 sharps. G sharp minor has 5 sharps. D sharp minor has 6 sharps. And then a sharp minor has 7 sharps. Notice how on the circle of fifths image it says, the minor scale with 7 sharps is B flat. Well, this is a case of enharmonics as well. B flat is the same note as a sharp. So, a sharp minor and B flat minor are the same scales with different names. Then, to figure out flats starting on a minor again, we count fourths. So the minor key signature with 1 flat is A, B, C, D. D minor. And it goes a fourth up from D to D, E, F, G. G minor. Then a fourth up again is C minor. then F minor, B flat minor, E flat minor, and then A flat minor. Well done. The circle of fifths is a handy reference tool. In the last video, we also talked about how major and minor keys relate to each other. For example, C major and A minor, both are keys with no sharps and no flats. They use the same collection of notes. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. But just start on different notes. You can use the circle of fifths to quickly see which keys are relative to each other. Take a look at the circle of fifths. See where C major is, and directly underneath is the natural sign, designating that it's a key with no sharps or flats. Then below that is A minor. The circle of fifths shows that C major and A minor are relative to each other. Let's look at another. A major and F sharp minor, they are relative keys that share 3 sharps. See the 3 sharp designation between the A and the F. The same is true on the flat side. B flat major and G minor are relative to each other. They both have 2 flats. Now, say you don't have access to the circle, and you want to figure out relative keys. Remember I mentioned before that to find the relative minor of a major key, the minor key starts on the 6th note of the major key. So let me look at C major again. We figure out the relative minor by finding the 6th note of the C major scale. C, D, E, F, G, A. A minor is relative to C major. Let's try another one. What's the relative minor of A flat major? Did you get? The 6th note of A flat major scale is F. So the F minor scale has 4 flats and is the relative minor to A flat major. To find the relative major scale from a minor key is simple too. The 3rd note of the minor key is the relative major. So in A minor, the 3rd note is A, B, C. C major is A minor's relative major. Another example is B minor. The relative major to B minor starts on the 3rd note of the B minor scale. Which one's that? Let's count it. B, C, D. D major is B minor's relative major. Alright, we discussed the circle of fifths and how to use the chart or counting to find key signatures. We also discussed how to find relative keys. So, major and minor scales that share the same key signature are called relative to each other. Find a relative minor of a major scale by identifying the 6th note of the major scale. For example, the 6th note in C major is A. So A minor is the relative minor to C major. Find the relative major of a minor scale by identifying the 3rd note of the minor scale. For example, the 3rd note of E minor is G. G major is the relative major scale to E minor. Use the circle of fifths to help identify which scales belong to which key signatures. And if you don't have a copy of a circle of fifths handy, start on C and count up a 5th to find the key with the next most sharps, and up a 4th to find the key with the next most flats.